Let's work with some useful materials from Spotlight 10. Teenagers. What's it like being 16? We spoke to six 16-year-olds from around the world to find out what they and their friends like to do in their free time. Here's what they had to say. I've got lots of friends and we're all into the same kind of things. We like watching TV, especially comedies, and my old favorite is Father Ted. We love music too, and I'm really into indie bands like The Bravery and the Arctic Monkeys. I try to go to as many gigs as I can. I'm not really into fashion, I can't stand shopping, and I couldn't care less about designer labels. I really like shopping. I think it's a relaxing, enjoyable pastime. So much so, I can spend hours window shopping in the city center with my friends. H&M is my favorite clothes shop because you can always find great bargains there. I also like going to the cinema and I try to catch a film at least once a fortnight with my friend Tom. Everyone my age is crazy about mobile phones and texting has become a new national pastime. I live with my family on a farm near a small town in South Australia. The countryside is beautiful around here, and I go walking and horse riding a lot, but life is generally boring. I don't fancy living here when I'm older and dream of going to live in a big city. My friends, my friends and I spend a lot of time on the internet playing games and chatting and we watch DVDs. Of course, like all teenagers, we always have homework to do. During the week, I don't do much in the evenings apart from my homework, so I really look forward to the weekends. On Saturdays, I usually hang out with my friends down at the shopping mall where we check out the shops for new clothes, grab a bite to eat, and watch a movie. On Sundays, I usually go for a trip to the countryside with my parents. I love that. I'm an active person. I hate TV. I find sitting in front of a TV screen a waste of time. I'm fascinated by the great outdoors. I'm a skateboard fanatic and get to and from school every day on one. At the weekends, I try to get out of the city and go rock climbing or paragliding. Extreme sports are my passion. I think it's important to look good too, and I go for the sporty look. I like keeping fit, buying expensive clothes, and dance music. I love going out clubbing with my friends at the weekends. We dance all night. I have two younger sisters, but we fight a lot because they always want to wear my clothes. That's so annoying. I hate it when they do that. Look after, look out for, look down on, look forward to, look up. Dear Jane, how are you doing? I'm really well, but it's taken me a while to settle in. It's been 4 months now since I moved, so I thought I'd drop you a line to let you know how I've been getting on. Dublin is a really exciting city. There's always something going on. In fact, there are so many cafes, cinemas, sports facilities, and shopping centers that it's sometimes difficult to decide what to do. There are lots of interesting people here too. Even though I've only been here for a short time, I've already made quite a few new friends. I'm really enjoying life here, but I still miss Ashby from time to time. It's more industrial here and there are a lot of more traffic jams and crowds. I have to be really careful when I'm riding my bike. What I miss most, though, is my old friends, especially you. Well, that's all my news for now. Write back and let me know what you've been up to since I last saw you. You're always welcome to come and visit. I'd really love that. Say hi to the rest of the gang. Yours, Fiona. General review strategies for a letter. Read the letter, email. How does it sound? Does the text flow in an effective way? Does the reader get the required information? Teenage fashion in the UK. I think I'm reasonably well dressed. I usually wear comfortable clothes that show a little bit of individuality. I love skateboarding, so most days you'll find me in a very baggy jeans, trainers, and a hoodie. That's a sweatshirt with a hood for those you who don't know. I'm not really bothered about brand names or logos. I tend to stick to cheaper clothes that won't rip when I fall off my skateboard. I love keeping up with all the latest trends. It's so easy to be fashionable these days as lots of top designers make clothes for the cheaper high street shops. I spend too much time and money in all of them, but they are full of trendy, affordable clothes. So what's a girl supposed to do? Hit the shops? Hit the shops, of course. When it comes to fashion, I like to take my inspiration from many different places. Britain is a very multicultural place, so you see lots of different styles and trends all the time. I like picking up bargains at the street markets and second-hand shops. Then, I put these clothes together with things I have found on the high street. That way, I always stand out in a crowd. Young people today are so creative when it comes to fashion that pop stars are influenced by their style and not the other way around. I can never resist buying the latest fashions, and I eat out with my friends at least once a week. I guess I'm quite rich for a teenager. I earn £50 a week from my weekend job, and my parents give me extra £20. I am a first year university student and I have to survive on my student loan, which is £70 a week. It's not really enough. I had a credit card, but I cut it up. I spend my money on snacks, bus fares, going to the gym, and going out. I'm football crazy. I follow my team wherever they play. My parents give me £20 a week pocket money, and I earn an extra £40 a week helping my dad in his shop. I get £15 a week and I spend it on computer games, CDs, comics, going out, anything really. I can't get a job at the moment because I'm studying for my exams. I earn £20 a week by doing household chores for my parents. I'm mad about computer games and spend hours playing with my friends. My parents can't afford to splash out on expensive things for me, so I save the money I earn from my Saturday job. I get £10 a week. I enjoy going on shopping sprees and buying magazines. At the moment, I'm saving up for a mobile phone. Read the problem page letter and reply. What's Andrew's problem? What does Claire suggest? Dear Claire, I'm always broke. I love being sociable and I'd like to go out shopping more with my friends, but I've never got any money. I don't mind working, but I live in a small town and there just aren't many part-time jobs. Is there anything I can do? Help me. Don't despair, Andrew. How about doing some odd jobs around your neighborhood like cleaning windows or cars if you want to earn some extra cash? You'll have more money and help your neighbors out too. Let me know how you get on. Take after. Resemble. Take out. Invite someone out and pay for them. Take up. Begin a hobby, activity, career. Take off. Remove clothes. Take over. Gain control of something. Take in. Make clothes a smaller size. Great British sporting events. The Oxford and Cambridge Boat Race. The boat race is a rowing race along the River Thames. It takes place each spring on the River Thames. The 18 competitors 9 in each boat, must be students at Oxford or Cambridge University. They train extremely hard, 6 days a week for 6 months before the race. The London Marathon. If you get out of breath running for the bus, then can you imagine running 26 miles, about 42 kilometers? Every year, usually in April, this is exactly what around 40,000 people do when they take part in the London Marathon. It's a serious athletic event which offers big prize money for the winners, but the majority of runners do it for fun or to raise money for charity. Royal Ascot. Royal Ascot is a 5-day horse rated. Royal Ascot is a 5-day difficult. Royal Ascot is a 5-day horse racing event at the Ascot Race Course in Berkshire. Each year, about 300,000 people buy tickets to watch the races. Ascot is very popular with members of the royal family and the rich and famous, but anyone is welcome to go. Royal Ascot is a fashion show too. TV presenters love to comment on what everyone's wearing, especially the ladies' smart hats. Wimbledon. Anyone for tennis? Every June, the world's oldest and most famous tennis championship takes place in Wimbledon in London. The tournament lasts for 2 weeks. Hundreds of spectators queue for hours for tickets to see the world's top players compete. It's not just the tennis they go for either. Strawberries and cream are the traditional snack at Wimbledon. 28,000 kilos of strawberries and 7,000 liters of cream are sold every year. Pick on. Bully, criticize. Pick up. Go and get somebody something. Pick at. Eat small amounts. Pick out. Choose. USA school system. Kindergarten, elementary school, junior high school, high school. Run on. Be powered by. Run out of. Have no more left. Run into. Meet unexpectedly. Run over. Knock down with a vehicle. Run away from. Escape from. Get off. Leave. Get on. Have a good relationship. Get in. Get in a train, bus, plane. Get by. To live, manage. Get around. Move from place to place. Our handy food and health tips. So there are some problems and solutions. Overweight. Eat less and take regular exercise. Underweight. Eat 3 well-balanced meals and 3 or 4 snacks per day. Lack of concentration. Eat lots of iron-rich foods and have a good breakfast. Tiredness. Follow a low-carbohydrate diet. Tooth decay. Cut out sugar drinks and snacks. Frequent illness. Eat foods rich in vitamin C. Indigestion. Avoid spicy foods and eating fast or late at night. Dry skin. Drink more water and eat more oily fish, nuts, and seeds. Give away. Give without wanting anything in return. Give up. Stop doing something. Give off. Release. Give back. Return. I think this is a great place for vegetarians. It took ages for waiters to bring our food. I was starving. This restaurant is extremely popular and advance booking is essential. The food was tasteless, the service was poor, and the tables were dirty. The service is professional and the waiters are extremely helpful. Get ready to be dazzled at the London IMAX cinema. This 477-seat cinema was opened in 1999 and has been thrilling cinema audiences ever since with magnificent 3D shows. Visitors to the cinema are promised a unique experience. Lifelike 3D images projected onto the UK's biggest cinema screen make you feel as you really are being chased by hungry lions or transported a quarter of a million miles away to the moon. You will also experience exciting improvements that have been made to the cinema, including fantastic opportunities to learn more about film and television. Turn up. Increase the volume. Arrive sometimes unexpectedly. Turn over. Change channels. Turn so the top part faces down. Turn down. Decrease the volume. Refuse. Turn on. Start a piece of equipment. What would you like to do when you leave school? Have you made any serious plans? How do Russian teenagers see their career prospects? My ambition is to become a diplomat because politics and travel have always fascinated me. My favorite school subjects are English and history, so I think my career plan makes sense. I used to think it would be impossible to pursue such a career, but I found out what I needed to do and I realized that it's within my grasp. I'll have to go to university, of course, which means I'll have to do well in secondary school. I don't mind though. I don't mind though because now I know what I really want to do with my life. I love art and design. However, I wouldn't like to be a professional artist. Instead, I'm considering becoming a hairstylist. That way, I could combine my creative talents and earn a regular income. My training will involve working in a well known salon in Moscow and attending specialist seminars abroad. One day, I'd like to open my own salon, and I hope I can use my experience and talent to make it one of the most fashionable places in Moscow. I find it difficult to make up my mind about the kind of career I want, as there are so many things I'd like to do. These days, there aren't any jobs for life, so I know I'll have to take a few risks and adapt to a changing world. But whatever happens, I'm determined to find a job I really love. I believe in that old Chinese proverb, find a job you enjoy, and you'll never work a day in your life. I haven't thought much about what I want to do after school. I've been too busy enjoying myself. I'm only 15, so I think there is plenty of time for me to consider my options. People say I'm a caring and considerate person, so I think a job helping people in a nonprofit organization would suit me best. I'm going to find out more about that. Environment. It's one of the most famous lakes in the world and it's one of the Russia's greatest landmarks. Lake Baikal. Lake Baikal in eastern Siberia is a miracle of nature. It's the deepest lake on Earth and it contains more water than all the Great Lakes of America put together. It's also the oldest lake on Earth and after more than 25 million years, Lake Baikal is still growing at a rate of 2 centimeters a year. However, facts and figures fail to describe the breathtaking beauty of Baikal. The water is crystal clear, and when you can see the shimmering stones on the bottom of the lake, it's hard to believe they are so deep down. But then this tranquility can easily become a tempest. As the lake changes its mood, the wind rises and huge waves begin to roll across the surface. Lake Baikal is surrounded by some magnificent mountain ranges, such as the Primorsky, Baikalsky, and Barguzinsky. More than 300 rivers flow More than 300 rivers flow into Lake Baikal, and only one river, the Angara, flows outwards. Of the 22 islands in the lake, the most famous is Alhon Island, where they say the sun shines brightly for more than 300 days a year. Aljon is a place of legend and wild spirits, and it's home to the famous Shamanka, where shamans used to live in times gone by. This environmental treasure also contains a wealth of biodiversity. Most of the 2,635 species of animals and plants discovered in and around Lake Baikal cannot be found anywhere else in the world. The lake The lake is also the only breeding ground for the Baikal seal and the omul fish on which they feed. In 1996, Baikal was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The total area of the site is 8.8 million hectares, which includes the lake's surface, three reserves, and two national parks, Pribaikalsky and Tunkinsky. Today, this precious Russian jewel is threatened by the industry around the shores. We can only hope that future generations will be able to come here and enjoy Lake Baikal as much as we do. What kind of food do Russians like? Here in Russia, we have lots of different soups like borscht, solyanka, and okroshka, but my favorite is the shi that my mom makes. It's a cabbage soup with carrots and spicy herbs in it. I don't like shi with meat, but if you add a little smetana, a kind of sour cream, it tastes delicious with rye bread. I love masleniцы because I love blины. They're pancakes and there's 1 week of the year when we eat lots of them. You can cover them with butter and eat them with sour cream or caviar, but don't try eating them with both because it tastes disgusting. The pelmeni that my dad makes are fantastic. Pelmeni are a type of dumpling that are usually made with a minced meat filling made from 45% beef, 35% lamb, and 20% pork. But my dad says he has his own secret recipe. They can be frozen until you want to eat them. You just boil them till they float and then wait 5 minutes more before serving them with sour cream or mustard. I'm a real meat eater and I love shashlik, a kind of shish kebab. You can buy a shashlik in restaurants, but I like getting one from street vendors who roast them on skewers over wood or charcoal. I've just learned how to make котлеты. You put milk, chopped onions, ground beef, and pork in a bowl and mix them thoroughly. It's a good idea to dust your hands with flour before you roll the mixtures into patties because this stops everything from getting too sticky. Then you just pop the patties into a frying pan and cook them. Everyone in my family likes my котлеты. It's one of the most famous theaters in the world and one of the most beautiful. Ballet at the Bolshoi. A trip to the Bolshoi Theater is an incredible experience even before the performance begins. The theater is a masterpiece of Russian neoclassical design. It seats over 2,000 people in a realm of hanging chandeliers, gold decoration, and red velvet furnishings. The Bolshoi has a history that's almost as dramatic as one of its performances. The original theater was Prince Urusov's public opera and ballet theater commissioned by Catherine the Great in 1776 and backed by the Englishman Michael Maddox. The first disaster struck in 1805 when fire damaged it beyond repair. The architect Osip Bov designed a new building which opened in 1825. However, disaster struck again in 1853 when the theater caught fire and the blaze raged for days. Almost all the interior was destroyed, but the outer walls remained more or less intact. The interior of the building was rebuilt in 1856 by the architect Albert Kavas. The Bolshoi has always been associated with ballet, and it's the home of the Bolshoi Ballet Troupe. It has hosted some of Russia's most famous performances and celebrated premieres by some of the best composers. Glinka's opera, A Life for the Tsar, premiered here on 7th September 1842, and Richard Wagner conducted a series of concerts here in 1863. In 1877, Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake was first performed here, and it remains a popular favorite. The century works by the composer Prokofiev and Shostakovich, as well as the 1960s hit Spartacus by Aram Khachaturian, were also performed at the Bolshoi Theater. The Bolshoi ballerinas, actors, and opera singers may tour the world, but there is no better place to see the Bolshoi Theater Company than right here in Moscow. Russians have been exploring it since the 1950s and achieved a number of firsts on man's final frontier. Russia is no stranger to space. Since the 1950s, Russians have been exploring space and have achieved a spectacular number of firsts. In 1957, Sputnik 1 was the first satellite in space. 1957, Laika was the first animal to orbit the Earth. 1961, Yuri Gagarin was the first person in space. 1963, Valentina Tereshkova was the first woman in space. 1965, Alexei Leonov was the first person to walk in space. 1984, Svetlana Savitskaya was the first woman to walk in space. Russia's space program continues to set itself new targets. At present, it has three main aims. The first is to send 3 manned missions to the moon by 2015. The second objective is to build a permanent base on the moon to tap its energy resources. And last but not least, its third goal is to dispatch a Russian crew to Mars, also known as the Red Planet, between 2020 and 2030. Of course, space travel does not come cheap. While the Russian government has given $2 billion to the program, private investment is also needed. Some money has been raised through offering tourist trips into space. Russia was the first country to offer this type of travel, and to date 4 people have traveled as tourists into space, each paying $20 million for the privilege. With its many firsts, Russia has been a pioneer in space exploration and has earned its place among the stars. Apart from technology and investment, the space program needs cosmonauts. Do you aspire to new heights?